I asked them to do a vegetarian one, so it's a good point. It's probably meat, yeah. Yeah, sorry. I'll see if they have it. I did ask them to do a vegetarian one. I'm not sure it may be vegetarian.
Good.
Is that the food?
Yeah.
Trapped by Alpine.
Sorry?
Did these guys?
Yeah, these guys made this one. Yeah, it's on my wife and stuff.
It's not gonna get
I've got to say that. Hey man.
Hey, guys, how's it going?
See ya. You snuck in.
I did.
Did she get your name?
I did, actually.
I was going to call you so you want to go out.
This looks like a bottle of vodka.
Is it? Next Friday's a pretty
Yeah,
good
no, I just wanted to
Next
get
Friday.
I work from home tomorrow, so I won't be available.
Is that every Friday?
No, they rotate. But we can do next week.
It's a shame on the website.
I appreciate the chili. Sounds good.
Yeah, I made this myself.
Did you?
No.
Oh, wait, no, just take the credit.
I'm going to take the credit. Pay for it myself. No, this food is by Bistro. I also do another tour just on Perrier Avenue. Is it called? Just down there. Perrier Avenue.
Yeah.
But I make the chili there. Actually, that's a little bit of a lie. I made the first one. My wife now makes the chilies. Right, just the time. Okay. Okay, guys, if you want to come on in, we want to get going. I know some of you will get back to work. So carry on eating. You might have to pause because there's a few movement things that we're going to do. But make sure, like, if you've got a jacket or bag or whatever, just put it out of the way so that doesn't get in the way. Just a little bit of admin. Be conscious these seats are on rollers, so when you get up, it's going to move around. All right. So that's just what we're doing today. Okay. Okay, right, thank you everyone for being here in wonderful time. Okay, I hope you enjoy the food all provided by the live. It's my first one here, so I've never done this before in this venue. I do them very regularly though. So my name's Dr. Craig Hygeine. I'm a family chiropractor. I'm based just outside of Westboro. Would it be okay in the next 20 minutes if I give you the juiciest information about spinal health that I can? Will that be okay? Yeah, cool, thanks. Now, I've been involved in chiropractic for over 20 years. 8 years, I used to be a military engineer prior to that. But for 8 years I was a patient, and for another 8 years I was doing what Michelle does, which is a chiropractor's assistant. And I've been a chiropractic doctor now for another 8 years. But over the last 20 years I've listened to dozens and dozens of speakers, and I've given over 600 of these presentations as well. So, is it okay if I give you the 3 biggest pro tips that I can? Okay, and I want to give you as much value as I possibly can, because we're only here together for. In fact, I think I've started early. What's the time?
12:34.
Oh, crumbs! I started a bit early. You guys are meant to have time to eat. Do you want me to just carry on? I'll just carry on so you can enjoy it, or just enjoy your food as you go on, all right? So sorry, apologies, I started early. It doesn't happen very often. So I'm going to give you the best information I possibly can, okay? Because we've only got 20 minutes together. Usually this presentation is an hour and a half. I do it in my office, it's an hour and a half, okay? But, and I give you challenges and all sorts, and you've got all sorts of stuff going on. But, so I'm going to give you the top 3 tips. The first one is engage. Okay, I've noticed that the people that get the best results from these workshops are the people that engage. So raise your right hand if you want to get good results. Okay. Okay, now on the count of 3, raise your left hand and shout heck yeah if you want phenomenal results. Ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, heck yeah! Oh, come on, that was lit. Ready? Once again. 1, 2, 3, heck yeah! That's more like it. That's participation. Thank you very much. Okay. So participation is the first one. The other one is focus. Okay. So there's a lot of noise out there saying this is good for you, that's good for you, and the other thing's good for you. But I'm going to give you the juiciest information I can in this short period of time. And then the third thing is follow through. Okay. Now, has anyone ever been to an event, they had a great time, had that jacuzzi effect, and they were going to change everything, and then a week or 2 later, not much has changed? Has anyone ever done that before, or is it just me? Okay, it isn't just me. Good. So would it be okay, if this resonates with you, would it be okay if I send you some material you can use after the event and carry on using it for your health? Is that okay? No, guys, let's see. Yeah, cool. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much for that. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Now, the first thing is motion is lotion. Okay, guys, so I'm sorry, I know you just started eating, but if you just put your bowls down for a second, watch out for the spinning chairs, and everyone stand up. Okay, just want to put your bowl down. Now, there's a table behind you, there's one here as well. That's it. So you don't need tons of it, but you do need a bit. Now, motion is most definitely lotion. So this is about the lower back. So I'm going to start, I'm going to show you one of the best stretches you can do. You might have seen the video of me hanging there. That's really awesome, but you can't always hang when you've got low back issues, okay? So what I want you to do is just lock your hands above the, we call them the hips, but it's the pelvis, it's the top of the pelvis, okay? So you're gonna lock your hands in there, and then what you're gonna do is you're gonna extend backwards, and you kind of push your hands down as if you're trying to push yourself out of the bath. So you've got some pressure going there, and you should start to feel some sort of decompression happening in this area, and I'm going to explain why this is important. Now, this is one of the stretches that are often taught if you wake up and you've got excruciating back pain. This is one of the stretches they teach. Now, you need to be careful because everyone's spine and everyone's problems are different. So it could be that could make things worse, but overall what they found is that an extension type movement is going to improve the case in the majority of cases. In some cases, it might make it worse, but you just got to be careful with that. So that's the first one, okay? And this is called a spinal hygiene exercise. I don't know if you realize, but 150 years ago, people didn't used to brush their teeth twice a day. So their teeth, well, in fact, they didn't used to brush their teeth at all. So their teeth would last until they were 25, 35 years old. Yeah, did you realize that? And they would have wooden teeth to replace them, or horse's teeth, or if you were really posh, you could have human teeth. Okay, now we're not like that now because we've been taught dental hygiene. We know how to look after our teeth, and now they last until we're 70. But unfortunately, spinally, we're still where we were 200 years ago as far as spinal hygiene goes. In other words, a lot of people's spines are aging prematurely, okay? And that's really what today is about, trying to give you tools to stop that premature aging, or at least to be able to spot it, okay? So this is called a spinal hygiene exercise, the one I just showed you there, and the next one as well. So in other words, you're not going to be able to run faster or have bigger lungs because you've done that, but it's a little bit like brushing your teeth. That doesn't make you fitter, but it helps your teeth last much longer, yeah? It's fair? Okay, cool. So that's the first one. This one's going to seem so simple, you're going to say, what the hell? So what we're going to do, we're going to rotate, we're going to look up, and we're going to hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to come back to the center, and we're going to go up to the other side. And we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to, now if you did that one more time, both sides, that's one set. You should aim to do 10 sets a day. It's brushing your teeth, okay? But I'm going to show you a variation. It doesn't matter what the motion, or like what variation you use, as long as you get the motion. So you're going to bring your hand in. Now be careful of the person next to you, okay? So watch me first. He's all right. So you're going to follow your thumb. So it's the same motion, but I'm actually activating 2 different parts of the brain. So neurologically, you're activating 2 different parts of the brain. God, you guys are really bad at following instruction. All right, so you go that way, and then bring it back again, and then we're going to go out the other side. We're going to follow 4, 3, 2, 1, and then back to the middle. Now, anyone feel a nice stretch in their shoulders when they did that? Yeah, who felt a nice stretch in their shoulders? Yeah. So you're actually doing 2 things. You're lighting up 2 parts of your brain, one either side. The arm motion has got there, but you've also got sternocleidomastoid, which is actually lighting up this side. It comes from that side. So neurologically, although it seems really simple, for your body it's very advantageous. Because what we do all day, we start on a computer, we're driving a car, it's all this motion. Now when you were a kid, you were throwing balls and you were running around with your mates, or you were hunting and gathering like 1,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, doing this. It's called a coronal motion. But we don't do that anymore. We sit in society like this all day long, right? And that's not good for us. Okay, great. So that's the second one. Now the third one isn't, it's just a demonstration. It's not a spinal hygiene exercise. The one I was going to show you, you have to do against this wall, and this wall apparently is not too safe. I don't want you all rushing to that wall. But don't worry, if I miss anything, I'm going to send you videos, and actually I'm even going to give you video resources before you go, where you can check this out and do a little bit more research, see what works for you. Okay, now the exercise I want you to do now, or the demonstration I want you to do now, is if you push your head forward, rotate your pelvis. Okay, so push your head forward, rotate your pelvis. Now push your head forward and rotate your pelvis the other opposite direction. Now, which is easiest? When you rotate your pelvis this way, or when you push it back so you get a bigger bump? Which is easiest? Push it back. Right, Brian can be quiet, but everyone else can answer. All right, so here's the thing. When we're born, what position are we in? What position are we in when we're born? We're in a fetal position. If we are looking for comfort and like we're being attacked, we go into the fetal position. So naturally, we have a tendency for the hips to come forward and the head to come forward, to come this way, because that's the first curve that forms. The second curve that forms is when we're a baby, between 8 and 14 months, and we're looking up over the shoulder. Notice my motion? Didn't I just show you how to do that motion? So in other words, that's what we're doing when we're babies, but as adults, we've stopped doing it, okay? So those exercises, I call them tummy time exercises. Yeah, it's not your tummy, but it's your neck. And then, so when we're doing that, that's the second curve that forms. And then when we stand up, that's when this bottom curve forms. Now this is the bulletproof your lower back, and we're going to talk about the lower back. But the reason we did that initial demonstration is, as your head goes forward, naturally your pelvis tips this way into that C shape, okay? And when it does that, it flattens your back. Why am I telling you this? Because if my neck has a problem and it starts to go forward, which is usually the direction it goes when you have a problem, your back is going to flatten, and that's going to cause lower spine issues. So although you find I talk a lot in my videos about neck, or in the presentation about neck problems, that's because if the neck goes forward, it causes a lot more stress on the lower back. Does that make sense, everyone? Okay, cool. Right, great. Thanks very much. If you take a seat, that's awesome. You guys did great. In fact, let's give yourselves a big round of applause. Woo! Good job. Right, okay. So motion is lotion. Literally, as you move, so what we're going to cover today, the two worst habits leading to premature spinal aging. We talked about motion is lotion. We're going to talk about bulletproofing. Oh, we're going to talk about your anatomy. So the anatomy of this presentation. And I'm going to give you a strategy so that you can do what you love for longer. That is my mission, is to help families and individuals do what they love for longer, okay? And I'm going to give you the 3 best stretches. I've already given you 2 of them. I might give you another one as well, okay? Now, in a previous life, the most terrifying day of my life was when 5 months after I returned from my 3rd war zone, and I was on the floor of a hospital being pinned down by 5 orderlies. I completely lost my health. So, like the following few years were pretty rough as well. So when people have got like excruciating lower back pain, or they've got some sort of health complaint where they think they're broken and nothing can be done for them, I can relate to that acutely, because I had a specialist tell me that that was it. You know, my brain would never be the same again, and it would deteriorate over time. And this was a top specialist. So that was actually 2 years later, and that was really, I can't say broke me, but I was in tears when I left. You know, I thought I was broken. But I'm here to tell you now that that isn't true. Okay, when people tell you that isn't necessarily true. I had 2 chiropractors that massively helped me out, reversed my health in a very big way, and I went on to study to be a chiropractic doctor, and I qualified, 8 years ago at the ripe old age of 46. So, although I'd been in chiropractic already for like 15 years prior to that. So, so that's really the message I bring to you, your family, and your friends. If people are desperate and they think they're broken, nothing can be done for them, send them to me. That's the people I love, all right? Because I know it isn't necessarily true. We talked a bit about the anatomy of the spine. I'm not going to dwell on it, but just to show you again, in case it was a bit quick, this is the back of the head. This is the top bone. It's called an atlas. It's very different to all the rest of the bones. I'm an expert at correcting that, okay? That can affect the lower back for sure, headaches, migraines, loads and loads of stuff, but I am super, super specific. Correcting that. And then you have a top curve, which is called the neck curve or the cervical curve, and it should be a backward C. Well, it's a C shape as you're looking at from there, guys. And then a backward C is the lordosis. That's the one that forms when we're fetal. This is what forms when baby's pushing up. And the bottom one that we're kind of interested in today is what forms when we actually stand up and start walking. And you've got your head over your shoulders, over your hips. Okay. Okay. And then on that, and I know there's a few models there, so if you guys can see, you can pass one back if someone's got 3 hands and no one's eating that. So actually just listen to me then, if you guys are all busy. Spinal bone is this part here. It's called a vertebral segment or a vertebral bone. In between the vertebrae, there is a disc. It's filled with fluid. It's fibrous on the outside, but there's fluid in the middle. And as you move, you actually pump fluid into that disc. There is no direct blood supply. Okay, so 20, 30 years ago, when medical people said you had to take bed rest if you had a bad back, that was actually the worst thing, because you were purposefully stopping that motion. Over a period of time, it starts to dehydrate and compress. Now, why is that important? This yellow thing here is meant to represent a bundle of nerves, hundreds of thousands of nerves coming out from that channel. Now, if the disc gets narrower, what happens to the size of that channel? Does it get bigger or smaller? Can you see? Yeah, smaller. So in other words, if we see the disc getting compressed, then we know there's problems there. Okay, putting pressure on the nerves. So that is what's called imbibition. A lot of people don't realize this, and medical book doctors don't say this happens, but 100% does. Okay, so this is where we are. We've got some compression there. If we can get motion back in to this segment, then over a period of time it starts regenerating. That gets bigger. Imbibition just means to drink. Okay, it's just a fancy word, but it's kind of cool. Right, premature spinal aging. What do I mean by that? So let's look at these two here. What this is an X-ray through the belly button. Yeah. and then an X-ray through the side. So that second X-ray was taken, sorry, I'm stood here, taken like that. Okay, that's this one here. And I mark them up. When you come in and I do a full spinal assessment, we mark these up. And then what I'm looking at is the width of the disc, because you can see down here it gets narrower. Yeah, can you see how it's narrow? It's big and black here, so it's quite big here, but it gets narrower up there as well. Okay, I look through his belly button. Can you see how instead of being straight, it comes out and goes up? I couldn't see that by looking at somebody, but by taking X-rays, which we do in the spinal assessment, we can see what's going on. So what do you think? Do you think that person's going to have better spinal integrity, better spinal wear, better spinal aging if it's straight or if it's crooked? If it's straight, yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Pretty, well, sorry, it wasn't meant to be a joke, but pretty self-explanatory. Now, this guy here, and this person here, and I'll clean it all up. Can you see how the discs now are nice and big and fat? There's probably something going on down here because it gets narrow very quickly, but they're nice and big and fat. There's a little bit of spinal bone changing happening here, but not that much. Okay, and I look at this one, nice and straight, both ways. Okay, who do you think's the oldest?
The oldest?
Yeah. Which is the oldest spine, do you think?
Yeah. The right one.
Trick question.
Oh, it is a trick question, but so this one here, this guy is 21. This guy is 55. I would like to have a spine like this when I'm 54. Well, I'm 55. I'd like my spine to be as in good condition as this. Yeah, and obviously there's an imbalance there. So what he's got is down here, see there's no disc at all. This is like a 50, 60-year-old that's had some compression. Like they've had something fall on them or that. So this looking at to me is much older. Okay, and that's what I mean by premature spinal aging. So he was probably born with a cord around his neck or had a difficult birth. And folks never knew anything about it. His parents didn't know anything about chiropractic, so they never got checked, okay? This guy's been active all his life. This is a military guy, so I know he's been active most of his life, okay? So when people say to me it's because of old age, like 9 times out of 10, it's not. It's because there's been an imbalance there for a long time. Does that make sense, everyone? Mm-hmm. Yeah, cool, thanks very much. Okay, so when we do our full spinal assessment, we include the X-rays because I can't see through you. I'm an excellent chiropractor, I'm a terrible magician. So we get some X-rays. We also we do some nerve system scans, okay, and we do computerized range of motion. So who here has had a full spinal assessment last year? Yeah, so we've got one at the back, okay. So if you guys want to get a spinal assessment, if you like what I'm saying, you want to come and see us, usually the assessment's over 2 days. We do full hands-on evaluation, we do all the scans, we get X-rays if necessary, and on the follow-on visit I give you a big information pack with everything that I've taken from you. I explain what it all means. We put together a plan of what you can do to get the best results, and if we take you up for care, we just get going straight away. So that 2-part visit's normally 180, but because you've been participating pretty good, it's just 60, okay? So if you're interested, I'll explain how to get that at the end. Right, okay, so let's get on. The 2 worst habits, okay, in society today. Has anyone here heard that sitting is the new smoking? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So that's I love that, okay? But I like this even more, okay? Because we're sat all day long. I already mentioned that, so I'm not going to go over that again because I want you to get the juicy news. So if sitting is the new smoking, screens are the new crack, yeah? So it used to be 50 years ago when personal computers came out, when I started using them, it was screens, yeah, and like 20 years ago, that's right, 30 years ago. But now, since smartphones have come out and iPads, we've gone from there to down here now. And what's happened to that person's neck? Remember, we want the neck to be that way, and it's actually completely the opposite direction. So that is 100% putting more stretch on the spinal cord going from the brain into the body, leads to tingling in the hands, concentration problems, difficulty turning, and that's even a relative, they won't necessarily be suffering those now, but they won't feel 100%. Even at this age, they'll know that something's not quite right, okay? And this makes me almost cry when I see this. So to start with, this is a 12-month-old that should be on their belly, pushing up and looking either side. That's why they're on their belly. That's part of the evolution process. So they've taken them out and put them in this because it's cute, yeah? It's cute to be in a walker. Look, baby can walk. She can't even walk, or he can't even walk. She probably. But now they're not getting that curve in. And in fact, they're encouraging the curve to go the other way because now baby's being drilled to use one of these machines. And I don't know if you know, we get dopamine hits all the time when we're using computers, when we get a like, when someone sends us a message, when we get something that kind of reinforces it, we get a dopamine hit. So much so that they've calculated this is addictive to gambling. But the trouble is, when you're gambling, there's an age limit, it's 19. But what's the age limit for dopamine hits from your computer? There is none, okay? So we end up getting addicted. That's why it's hard to get kids off of, they've got to get the dopamine from somewhere to get them off of the computer, okay? Right, now this is a strategy I promised to give you. This is a 3-level strategy to help you do what you love for longer. That's my big mission. The first one is adjustments in rhythm. Now, does anyone have to be out dead on 1 o'clock? Yeah, okay, okay, we've got 7 minutes then. Sorry, I have my phone here, it's a bit poor. Okay, we're close. Okay, we're close. So we got that. Right, so this is the strategy. So the first one is adjustments of rhythm. An adjustment, for those of you who've never been to a chiropractor before, is a minimal thrust. It's just a little tiny impulse. Sometimes I can use little clicking tools. If you just want super light, that works really effectively. And the idea is to remove imbalance, to get you moving better, okay? My job is not to heal you. You come with a lower back, neck pain, headaches, period pains, deafness, sight problems. I've had all of those things improved in my office, but I'm not trying to heal or cure those things. I'm just removing imbalance from the nerve system. That's my job, okay? And then we give you this, once we've start to remove the imbalances and your body's got momentum and it's starting to reorganize, really that's what happens as the reorganization goes on. Later on I give you spinal hygiene exercise, a little bit like what we've done today. So you can do them and they're good for you and it's probably going to give you some gains, but obviously for me the secret sauce is the chiropractic. In fact, not even just me. The secret sauce is the chiropractic. I've done all this other stuff before as a masseuse, and, and it doesn't make difference compared to the adjustments in rhythm. The spinal hygiene exercises, I've shown you a couple of those. I'm going to send you a few of those so you can check them out and use them. And then, so if this is brushing, you're going to see the dentist to get your teeth cleaned. This is you brushing your teeth at home, okay? It just means you come see me less often and you have better quality of life in between. And then the top is the 4 pillars of health. So like I said, there are 4 pillars: nutrition, mental attitude, rest, and exercise. Yes, almost forgot it. So those 4 are really key. This is nothing to do with chiropractic, okay? But if you're my family and anyone that comes to my office, is this right? You're my chiropractic family in the office? Yeah? I'll bend over backwards to give you as much useful information as I can. It's not chiropractic, but if you were my nephew or my cousin or my sister, I'll give you these. Now whether you do them, I don't chase you for these. I chase you for this because this is the big one, all right? So having an exercise program consistent, doing your spinal hygiene exercises, keeping yourself tuned up, that is the strategy. Okay. You guys probably saw this before. This was the 3rd spinal hygiene exercises. Obviously, I can't do it here. I'm going to send you this video if you're interested. And obviously, if you've got bad shoulders, don't do it. There's a lot of contraindications. But this one here is kind of similar, not as effective, but it gets you going. And there's another one that I've shot a video for. I just need to make it available. Basically, if you go into the, child pose, I'm not going to do it here because no one will see me. I could do it on the table, but they'll kick me out. I won't be allowed back. But if you do child pose and you kind of plant your hands and you come back into that position there, and then you basically wiggle your bum to one side and hold it, you'll feel the stretch. And then the other side, and you just hold it. The farther forward you can plant your hands and keep them there, as you come back, you'll feel more and more of a stretch. That's a really good one. So that's another nice way to unlock that lower back. All right. Hanging is a good one as well. Right, guys, just to wind up. obviously it's just 20 minutes. I try to do the best I can. I do have other, you can come along to my, if you go to my website, it's got everything that I'm doing, and I'm probably going to have about 1 or 2 a month now because I'm enjoying them. The next one I've got is actually going to be an hour long. It's the 30th of December. All right, so it's a weird day, but it's between Christmas and New Year. So if you're thinking of making some changes, come along, 15 pounds healthier in 15 weeks. That's going to be an hour long, because at the end I do want to give you a challenge package. And we give you a package you can take away and use it or not use it, 100% up to you. But that's a really good one. And here at the Hive, on the 8th of January, I'm going to do Stay Fit While You're Sick. To try and give you a bit more, talk a bit more about these things, these sit-stand desks. I am going to give you a special report on sit-stand desks. I know a lot of people ask questions whether they should have them at work or have them at home. I've done one, the advantages and dangers of sit-stand desks. It's going to be in your gift bag, all right? Now that door there, we need to keep closed just for the moment. And what we're going to do, almost done? Yeah, so the gifts that I've given you, today you've got a takeout bag. Michelle's going to come around kind of about now and get a takeout bag for you. Your dessert is in the takeout bag, all right? It's a chocolate bar. It's a different one. Yeah, it's caramel. She keeps going for the chocolate bar. That's what it is. All right, but actually I'll show the okay. Now when I came back, I wrote a book. When I came back from Ottawa, I wrote a book called 12 Strengths Back from the Abyss. That was during my rehabilitation. And I sold 2,000 books in the first 2 weeks. So I don't have to give this away, but you guys have all got a copy of it, right? Dessert, chocolate barriers. We've got obviously pen and notebook and more stuff. Now this is actually the stuff I want to show you. There's a resource page. That's 150 different videos, okay, on different topics. There's one there specifically lower back pain, but there's lots of other stuff like food and migraines and that sort of thing. And then there's advantages and disadvantages. There's advantages and dangers of a sit-stand desk. Now this is a fun thing. If you know any 3 to 7-year-olds in your circle, I've given you this. This is a book I wrote when I was recovering with my daughter. I started making up stories instead of I was reading books initially to reconnect with her, and then I started making up stories, and she kept me making up stories for 2 years. So I turned it into it's half storybook, half they make it up as well. So they really love that one. So you've got a copy of that as well. All right, and then the final thing, you've been awesome at participating today. Now, occasionally, Michelle's my boss when it comes to the free appointments. How many free appointments can we give this week? Because 7, right? Okay. So if you want to come along to the office, and I'll give you the whole the full assessment lesson. Instead of 60, I'm going to do 7 for free. So just on the way out, get your bag, get your chocolate bar. I'll be here to answer any questions you've got. And if you want an appointment, Michelle can sort that out for you, okay? And finally, I want you to give yourselves all a massive round of applause! Well done, guys. Thank you very much. And yeah, Michelle's going to be, actually, I'll give you the back, and then I'll have questions. Michelle will take it. Yeah, and don't leave your stuff here. Don't leave your notes. And I'm here to answer any questions. There you go, Brian. You want to do one? Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
If you have any questions, just reach out, all right?
Thank you.
Thanks very
Thanks
much.
for coming out.
There you go.
Thanks very much.
Oh, yeah.
Would you like to play?
Thank you very much. There you go.
Okay. Not sure.
Well, how much of that stuff do you need? Most of you already got. Do you want a chocolate bar?
I can usually pencil you in for something. And worst case, give us a shout.
All right.
And
Do
we
you have any
can
questions?
rebook
at
you.
all?
Yeah, that would. Please remind me your name. Oh, yeah, okay. Perfect. So, looking into next week, November, we have a lot of stuff happening. We have a morning at 7
My
o'clock,
whole
an
focus
afternoon
is
at
taking
4.
never asked about the muscles.
On Monday. Yeah.
So like for instance,
Yeah,
when
guys.
you
Yeah,
are pain,
So we
is
do
it coming
it for
from the neck or from the
No,
muscles?
100%.
I'm going to give you a questionnaire
So
for
it's
you.
because there's something wrong with them, like the nervous system?
There can be pressure on the nerves. nerves, that causes pain. But my job is, well, I mean, I'm focusing on the nerves, but if I change the structure, that changes the nerves. If I change the muscles, that
Yeah, address
changes
is
the
on the front there. Okay, great.
You know,
And our
'cause
number.
your body starts moving differently, and the nerves go into your brain change, so
Are you interested in the point?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, if I,
Yeah, of course, I was
call me
actually.
later.
Oh, sorry, Alyssa. Yeah. One of the A names.
Hey guys.
Okay, so I'm looking into next week on Monday. We do have a 7 o'clock and a 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Monday is
No?
3 o'clock.
Okay. What days are forward?
Thursday or Friday.
Yeah, okay, so for Thursday, I have the 13th is a 7 o'clock in the morning and a 5 o'clock. Next. So we're both on Fridays. Oh, you're, yeah.
Friday.
So that's what's called the SI. So what I think's happened is you've got either a twist in the tailbone, pressure, or it could be something's happened in the past to change position of the pelvis, which causes pain. So it's all related. So for example, if there's a twist that if this is twisted, it's going to twist that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, perfect. So I was gonna give you a questionnaire. We just asked you for your visit, and I just.
Did they say it was broken at the end? Did you fall on
Thank
it?
you. No worries, have a great day. Are you free? Awesome. Yeah, okay. So, please remind me. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you. So I'm looking into next week. Hi, guys. Let's see what we got here. Okay. So I do have Monday, November 10th, as soon as we can get you in. Yeah? Okay. So we have a 7 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and a 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
I'll take 3 o'clock.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, no worries. So let's write
Yeah,
what
like,
we're saying here.
after
And then I
this,
just put the form for
getting
you.
the
So take, I'm just gonna write your appointment date and time on it. So we have you on November 10th. You said 3 o'clock? Okay.
A lot of people, you know that kind of, a lot of people, when it gets cold, it's getting dark, and people get depression, no? Oh, okay, something else.
So this is our questionnaire that you just bring before your appointment, and at the front is a map of
So
where
if
you
this
are.
is the position, if I'm
No worries,
in
have a
this
great
position,
day.
here, all of a sudden I start getting fight and flight, so
How
it's
you doing?
the physical effects of the mental,
Yeah, absolutely. It says None of them. Sorry about that. Zora. Beautiful. So as soon as I get you in, it's either be this Thursday,
Well, have a
November
look at
6th.
my little book.
Yeah,
Do you see what it's called? It's called
Today, that's today. I'm like,
It's
never
the War Veterans.
I mean, you can come in at 4:30, but it's
So
long.
I think we find some.
No worries. For
Sure.
today, 5:15, or we can get you in on Monday, there's a 5 o'clock.
I'm here for.
Today, 5:15. Really? Oh my god, that makes me so happy. Okay,
Yeah, I was
cool.
with the
I'm gonna get
commandos.
you
I was in
in
the
for-
Navy actually. but I was attached to the commandos.
And I'll give you our questionnaire here. So.
Yeah, it was alright. It's not my
Okay,
hero.
so today is the 6th, right? Or am I? Okay. Where are we
Sorry?
looking? So we're at 842 Fart, and we have it on the like the address here and everything.
Sorry?
We are at where are you?
It was
We're
like
about 10 minutes
the
drive.
first 2 years back.
Okay, yeah, so not too
I
far.
took much of it as well.
Okay. So here's our questionnaire.
What
This is
makes a
what you can
couple
do for the appointment. If any
more
questions,
of-
we've got our number there as well. And probably the one answering them. So
Well, it's really
have a
fast.
great day. See you later. Yes.
There are ideals, but it's different for different people. Everyone's different. But generally, you have a curve here.
Yeah.
But not like too much of a curve. Not too flat, so it's not too tight. There you go. This
You're interested, yes.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
What if this means we don't have to clean anything
Oh,
up?
okay, beautiful. So, this is my doing. Maybe today at 3:30.
Is this,
This is Monday. We have a 7 o'clock
I
in the
just
morning.
want to know one thing.
or 5
So
o'clock.
during periods,
Yeah,
okay,
Monday.
we are
Yeah,
doing
for sure.
like
What
gym.
time would you like?
I mean, like if
I
I'm
do
going to gym,
five.
it's like in the first
No
2 days
problem.
with heavy
Okay,
flow.
so 5 o'clock on Monday.
Like,
And I just have a quick form. So
so
that's gonna be the
fine. Like normally I don't have much pain,
Yeah.
but sometimes like some maybe doctors or some people like in the Instagram reels I have seen like don't go to gym
and on the front is where we're located.
Well, I mean, I think the problem
And I
is,
didn't even give us a
because
shower
there's a lot
numbers
of
that
bleeding, the body has to regenerate that blood.
Thank you very much.
So it's kind of almost semi-healing.
Nice to meet you.
So maybe if I was recovering from an illness, I wouldn't go there. It's not an illness, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying the body has to recover. So, but also it depends on the wound.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like my daughter, she's a semi-professional soccer player, but when she has a period, she's a nightmare. So, just go and see it. I suggest if you're getting lightheaded all the time, perhaps fainting, or maybe don't.
Okay.
But if you enjoy it, then
Thank you, see you Monday.
See you Monday.
yeah. So, yeah. Also, those highlight girls, they just, you know, they're trying to get quick. Like, those people don't really know what they're talking about. They just know that a lot of women are looking to find out where they should go to the gym.
Yeah.
So just research the person if you like what they're saying before.
Oh, okay.
But to me, I mean, the real test is how listen. The most important thing I can do to anyone is how they listen to their internal voice.
Okay.
We all have an internal intelligence. That's how I get my results. It's not me being intelligent, it's me removing interference or allowing your intelligence to express. That intelligence lives in the brain and it speaks to the rest of the body. So the heart, the kidneys are all communicated to by the nerve system. So my job is to take pressure off the nerve system that allows that intelligence to speak to you. But the intelligence also speaks to your brain. So when you have a hunch or a feeling or you just know you should do something, that is that internal intelligence. So if I can teach people to listen to themselves a lot more, then
Oh, okay.
that's huge. That's huge. So if you'll think someone's telling you one thing, and you're on the quiet and you're on your own, and you're like, no, I'm going to do it. And guess what? As long as it's not your ego saying, you know, oh, he said I can't do it, so I'm going to do it. That's different. But if you're like, no, I'm good with that. I'm going to do it and see what happens. And of course, like I say, you just, are you fainting? Do you feel weak? Have you got plenty of water there?
Okay.
Yeah?
Thank you.
Cool. My pleasure.
Yeah,
My
it's
pleasure.
nice meeting you.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Thank you. That was a lot of fun.
See you later.
See you later, Ashley. See you later. Sorry, it's Millen, isn't it?
Millen, yeah.
See you later, guys. Right. Okay, so let's get stuff down to the table.